Hi guys. First of all, thank you so much for being willing to try this home recording setup. I think given the current situation with coronavirus and all that, it's going to be really important for us to be safe so that we can continue to do shows. Now the video that I'm making today is going to show you a couple different things. It's going to start with an unboxing video so you can go through and know all of the equipment that's supposed to be present. Then I'm going to show you how to set up for a full-size stand so you can stand and record, followed by setting up same kind of a setup for a tabletop stand. So if you want to sit at a desk or at a table to record, you can do that. And then finally a little bit about how to plug in the microphone to the USB interface, and then the USB interface into the computer, and then access an audio recording program. I always recommend Audacity, which there is a link for how to download that below. So without further ado, again, thanks a lot, good luck, and now let's learn how to set up. Right, here we are going to take a look at the unboxing video of your remote kit. Let's see what all the things we have in here. Some of this stuff's going to be familiar. That's a microphone cable. That is, of course, a pop filter. Here we have, let's see, headphones with adapter. A couple little doodads. That's a tabletop stand and a piece of foam that's also used in the tabletop. We have our microphone with brass insert. That's all ready to go. We have our USB interface. More about that in a bit. And then finally our reflective screen, which should help things move along a little bit. There's two pieces to this that you should be aware of. I just usually lift the screen out of the bag. It opens like so. And then inside the bag, move that out of the way, there should be three pieces of hardware. We have that little doohickey, the bar, which is actually how the microphone attaches, and then finally this little doohickey as well. And that's the beginning of your kit. Video that I didn't mention that'll be part of the kit, and that is, of course, a microphone stand. I'm going to be working on a way to possibly use this kit on a tabletop, but for right now, I think standing up is probably better. So here I've repacked the kit, and the first thing we have to get out is actually our reflector stand. Now, you remember there was a couple of pieces of hardware that came with this, and generally what I like to do is go ahead and leave those in the bag to begin with, fold it out like that, and then what you want to be looking for is this piece right here. This is the piece that we kind of added in addition to, just came the black part. I added this additional silver part so that our favorite microphone would actually work. And the way you put it on a mic stand is just use this little receptor to screw on the available bolt. And what I want to show you is how this particular thing is designed. The particular what do you call it, bar is designed. I know there's a hole here, but you actually want to put the screw right in the end of this slot. Ayla, I know what you're thinking. Shame on you, but it goes right there, if you can see that. And then the frame or the shield goes on top, and it just screws down as you pirouette it. And when we get to the point that it's pretty tight, some flexibility there. If you haven't dealt with the microphone stands before, they can be a little bit jiggly and or wobbly. So the thing to do is just go ahead and tighten it down and then turn. There we go. I think that's pretty good. Want the bar more or less just to the right of center. So the next thing you'll need is one of the pieces of hardware, and I think the one you probably want to use is that. It is small. It also has a emptied out or a hollowed out place in the back. There's another piece of hardware that's similar that doesn't have a hollowed out place. So you want to go ahead and look for the one that's hollowed out. Next we need, of course, our microphone, and again making sure that there's a brass piece right there. And what we do is just thread this up through the bottom and screw the microphone in place. Now, the reason I added this silver piece is the design of this mic has the microphone cord going up kind of right, or falling directly down from the microphone, which makes it sort of difficult to fit with the bar as it was originally designed. So that's why I added the additional piece. So what you want to do is you'll find the female end of the cord. Again, no jokes please. It's the one that looks like that and also has the small release hatch. And if you look at the microphone, look on this side, you'll see a small slot. That slot lines up with the release hatch there. And there it is, pretty much our setup. The only additional, the only final bit to go on the stand is, of course, the pop filter. The pop filter, attaches about, I'm going to say 6 inches down. Let's go 4 inches down. And you just put it on the main bar there, screw it down nice and tight, and then bend this up, of course, in the way. If it often does that, wherever you put it, it falls back down, so just go past the point where you want to put it, it'll probably be in place. And that's about the setup that you want right there. A little bit of space between the pop filter and the microphone, and this reflector shield is right in place. With the reflector shield actually.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about how to set up this particular item with the tabletop version. This is a little more DIY, but a lot of the equipment is the same. Starting out, of course, with the reflective screen, as it's called. The way I like to unpack it is just go ahead and pull it out, leaving all the hardware inside. The hardware for this set, you're going to need all 3 pieces, which includes the bar, got away from me, the bar, the, I don't know what you'd call this piece, and then of course the individual piece there. This little bar does like to come loose, but it doesn't need to be too much tighter than what you can cinch down with your fingers. So there we go. So to begin with, and the 2 pieces you'll need in addition to what we did before with the upright or the standing stand, I include a little piece of foam that'll become obvious in a minute, and then our tabletop stand, which has this silver bit on top. First thing, I'm going to screw this bit on top of the silver bit, then unfold the reflective screen. I find the easiest way to do this is just splay out the stand like so, put the bar in place, and screw on the reflective screen, pirouetting as before. Does tend to get a little tight towards the end, and I'm sort of reluctant to stress this too much, but there we are. Bar in place. Again, screw those down so they're a little bit. So next step is our microphone. Wonderful Shure Super 55. And that is where you use this. Just put that up through the bar and then screw into place. I don't have the cable handy, but as with the upright stand, should be fairly easy to plug in the cable once you got this into place. Again, I kind of like to angle it like so, where it's a little more centered. There we go. A little more centered in the reflector screen. Now it's a bit tippy, as you can tell, which is why I included this bit of foam to go under like that, and you pretty much have everything set up. The biggest problem with using this over the stand-up regular stand is what do you do with the pop filter, because you still need a pop filter. And just by playing with it, I came up basically with this shape right here, and what you do is you just rest this underneath the stand. In other words, you don't, it's going to work this time or what? In other words, you don't completely attach it to anything, you just kind of rest it underneath and then bend up, experiment and try as you go, and there it is. So that is how you use the tabletop stand. If you wish to record on a tabletop as opposed to on an upright stand. All right, well, we're going to take a look now at the final step in getting all set up to do home recording, and that is, of course, this guy. It is the Tascam US 1.1x2, which is just a very simple audio interface. In other words, the thing that you plug in to your computer in order to access your microphone. This is the USB cable, pretty standard type, as you can see, the two different types of ends. Duckbill one, of course, goes into your computer, and the regular one plugs into the back like so. And there is no power control on this unit. It just takes its power from the computer, so if you're going to be doing this with like a laptop or something like that, you probably want to have it plugged in when you go. The only real ones you need to worry about on the item, sorry, getting my camera set there. The plugs you need to worry about, rather, of course, this is the microphone input. This is where you plug in the mic. This is the volume control for the mic, and this is the volume control for your headphones. Excuse me. Microphone cord, as you might imagine, just goes in like that. And your headphone cable, which will need what they call a 1/4-inch adapter, goes in like that. And again, this knob will control your headphone volume. Doesn't affect the recording volume at all. This knob controls the microphone volume. This also controls volume going into the computer. For the most part, you shouldn't have to touch those. Okay, so going now over to our computer, I think probably the simplest program to use is going to be Audacity. And that is one I just now installed on this machine. Only took about 2 minutes. It's open source. It's Mac or PC. It's a very, very cheap and very, very excellent program. And you know, it's just about the standard, I think, for beginning recording. And this is what the interface looks like. If you want to check and make sure that your microphone is plugged in, you go to the Edit menu and then down to Preferences. I think it's in a different place on Macs. And like with a lot of open source software, it changes a lot from version to version and download to download. So just persistently look for Preferences or System Settings or something like that. But when you click on Preferences, you get Devices is the #1 item. And what you're looking for right here is Recording Device, and it says Microphone USB 1x2. And if you do the drop-down menu, there's a couple of choices, but what you're looking for is US 1x2 or maybe USB 1x2. And let's do a quick test. Again, sorry about the camera movement there. Best way I know to test a microphone is to, sorry, knock the camera yet again, is to hit the pause button and then hit record, and then see if you're getting these indicators right here. Looks to me like it's a little bit quiet, so I'm going to go a bit more volume on the microphone, and that's probably closer to. And then, of course, the final test is if you just unclick pause. We are now recording, and that looks pretty darn good. The other test to do, of course, is you've got to be able to listen through the USB, not only to what you record, but to what I'm saying over the Google Hangouts or the Zoom or whatever we're doing. So this button takes you back to the beginning. I don't know if you can hear that. Probably not. But I am recording that. So basically, that's pretty much the standard for a USB. Oh, hang on. Before I do that, I'll just briefly show you. One of the weird things about Audacity is you don't actually save the files that you make. What you do is go to File, Export, and then here's these options. Export as WAV, export as MP3. We'll probably export as WAV because that's the maximum quality. Now, on Windows, if there is a problem, if you're not getting the microphone showing up, one thing you might do is go to Settings, and then System. They buried it a little bit, and then up here, Sound. Sound will, and your input device right here. Again, you have a couple of different options, but I'm choosing the microphone US 1x2 or Tascam 1x2. Who knows what it's going to be called? Anyway, that's about it. This should be enough to get us started. Thank you so much, and I'll record with you soon.